Real chance for money! Oh my goodness me, what a goal that is!
I can see the safety car coming into the background. There's one light, two lights, three lights, four lights, five lights, and it's go, go, go! And straight into the lead.
In the Paris, and look at this, both Mercedes have joined, and Ricardo, this is the championship challenge, pretty much hanging in there. Going side by side as they fly down 11 and 12 into 13. Can he hang on? Gonzalez, oh, he's gone wide! He's gone wide! And he's doing everything possible to hang on. Well, the stewards, they may have a look at this. Braking again. Turn 15, round left, turn 16, a blast towards the pit straight entry, and it looks like the racing point has gone through, it has gone through. Can Gonzalez find something magical here? Sergio Perez is through, he's never won a Grand Prix before, and does so now. Sergio Perez is a winner in Sochi, and Perez from Russia with love is a winner. But here is the man. Perez, the hero of the hour. You always remember your first. And this afternoon in Russia, Perez will remember where at long last, in Formula One motor racing, he became a Grand Prix winner. It's something that will stay with you forever. And I promise you, it couldn't have happened to a nicer man.
Well, the Japanese Grand Prix is a famous circuit in the Formula One World Championship calendar. Memories of Senna and Prost flying off twice as the championship was decided, and that of Damon Hill. So I've got to stop because I've got a lump in my throat. Well, this afternoon, and in your case, it'll be at the early hours of the morning, the World Championship cannot be decided, but if anyone was to slip up, that would have a massive impact in the championship as things stand. And a slip-up has happened from the standpoint of Mercedes, who are so dominant in qualifying. A forced gearbox change has dropped Valtteri Bottas, the leader in the championship, down to 10th. Could this be the opportunity for Lewis Hamilton to make his move? Well, he's got a lot to make up at the moment. Lewis Hamilton to stay and equal Michael Schumacher's record. It is going down to the wire. Of course, don't discount Hector Gonzalez in the Ravenwest. He too is in with a shout, but how he needs a qualifying session to help him get on that front row. Well, that wasn't to be the case in the end. It was an excellent effort. Hamilton getting first and Charles Leclerc the perfect 129 flat. Perez getting third in the Racing Point and Lando Norris coming fourth. Verstappen is fifth and Ricciardo is sixth. Great work by Esteban Ocon. Only ninth for Hector Gonzalez. Valtteri Bottas, we know, is 10th after that temporary grid penalty. Sebastian Vettel also getting a penalty, as did Carlos Sainz, back down in 14th. Kimi Raikkonen, who's announced his retirement, is 16th at the moment on a 1 minute 30. Back at there, George Russell's down in a mix. Schumacher's had a 5-place penalty, dropping him down to 10. Added Romain Grosjean and Nicholas Latifi in the Williams Racing. And when we come back, it will be the Japanese Grand Prix as we hit round 14 of the Formula One World Championship. So watch for the lights. Lewis Hamilton on the right, Charles Leclerc on the left. It's a good start by all course. Hamilton's got away very quickly, as has Perez. Norris has got away really nicely, and Hamilton is through. Hamilton is through. He's got a good lead. Perez is third. Lewis Hamilton is away and already pulling away. What a start by Lewis Hamilton, who's flying away in this Grand Prix. It's a really good start. And we're standing right at the back of the grids. That's Hector Gonzalez, who's got through in 9th. That's the McLaren of Lando Norris. So great start by Hector. Bottas still is back down the field. And Gonzalez getting so close, but cannot get past the McLaren. And straight away then he's got Lance Stroll sitting right behind him, Hector Gonzalez. And McLaren are really hoping this could be the moment where they come back in. Gonzalez has got to get through. What a start as they go through the start-finish straight in the short circuit for the GT cars. And it's down the hill. Tight left-hander, lots of downforce on these cars. Brake really heavily. And just able to get through. So, Gonzalez. Oh, look at this. Oh, and Gonzalez is through to 5th. Norris is down to 6th. Hamilton leads, most importantly. Bottas is still 10th. Lance Stroll now having to defend both Renaults behind him. So as things stand at the moment, Lewis Hamilton could potentially have a 1-point advantage over Valtteri Bottas in the championship. If Lewis was to fail to finish and Bottas even get this 1 point, then a point would seal the championship at the next Grand Prix in America. Bottas has it all to do. He's got the 2 Renaults ahead of him, and he's got to produce the drive of his life to keep the advantage in the championship. His teammate has done everything right at the moment. Hector Gonzalez is making a move up to 5th, but it is Bottas at the moment that has it all to do for the championship. And such speeds, it must be said, that both Mercedes have, but it's the race pace of Hector Gonzalez that is so impressive. It really stands in good stead for just how well the man can race, and he really can go. And we come through to complete lap 3. Lewis Hamilton leads, Charles Leclerc is 2nd, Sergio Perez in the Racing Point, brilliant 3rd, breaking Mercedes' dominance in the previous round to win. And there is Max Verstappen, who is 4th. Hector Gonzalez remains 5th. Here is the Racing Point that we are watching of Sergio Perez. There's Charles Leclerc behind him. Max Verstappen is starting to gain at the moment, but Perez is looking at a podium after many years in the elites of motorsport racing. At long last, he's a race winner. I do have to say, it was delighted to see him, and you can already see the cars themselves, the way they're set up. There's a lot of movement, so that Racing Point's definitely dragging. More spots with the setup, as is there from the Red Bull. There's a lot more at the moment coming from that Racing Point. The cars themselves are set up so incredibly low, so I wonder on that respect, is it causing it to drag and scuff on the ground? And if so, that's going to lose you straight line speed. And it's straight line speed that Lewis Hamilton has in abundance, because he is pulling away at the moment from the battle for 2nd place. Hector Gonzalez at the moment has Lando Norris in the McLaren right behind him. Race like heck to get past him, as Lewis Hamilton has set the fastest lap at a 1:31.3. Lando Norris is right behind Gonzalez. Gonzalez, the outsider for the championship, really here today, needs to win and needs to do better than this. DRS is open, And there goes Lando Norris through into 5th place, and Gonzalez is down to 6th. So with DRS open here at Suzuka, this is going to leave some opportunities for many of these cars to pass. Lewis Hamilton's done his part. He's got over a second advantage, which means Charles Leclerc and company cannot use it, which means if you're Charles Leclerc, Perez and Verstappen behind you could open you up. As for Lando Norris in the McLaren, well, he's got a very angry Hector Gonzalez trying to chase for the championship. And here is Bottas at the moment. That's Daniel Ricciardo, which is ahead of him. And he's got Alex Albon behind him at the moment. So Ricciardo knows as they break for the slowest part of the circuit. That's Esteban Ocon, my apologies. But Esteban Ocon ahead of him. Then he's got Daniel Ricciardo to pass. Then he's got Lance Stroll. Gonzalez is getting close. And Gonzalez isn't able to get through. This is Lando Norris in the McLaren. And you can watch at the speed that he's doing. It's such as the camera quality. 198 mile an hour through that left-hander. Such is the downforce in these cars. Into the chicane. And flying out. DRS is going to open up. And this is going to give it an opportunity. If I'm not sure if Gonzalez has got enough. If he has, he's got to brake very, very late. We know Gonzalez can do that. He runs wide and comes in. And was there contact? That'll be the question that'll be asked. And there goes Gonzalez through now. Sergio Perez has been losing time here to Charles Leclerc. And he's now got Max Verstappen sitting right behind him. So the Red Bull is looking to make a moment. And one driver we've not talked about today is Lewis Hamilton, who has stormed ahead. Hamilton wins here in the positions, and this is going into the circuit. The championship is very much alive, and it'll be about as close as it's been probably since 1998, where there were 2 races to go. Both drivers were tied on 80 points apiece. That was Mika Hakkinen and Michael Schumacher. In the end, the championship went to Mika Hakkinen after Michael Schumacher stalled, had to start from the back of the grid at Suzuka. But there will be no championship decider. Suzuka, of course, that has been replaced in recent years with Abu Dhabi. But here on the home of Formula One, CW Virtual Commentator Channel, Interlagos is the finale of the Grand Prix season. For a long time, it was the start of the Grand Prix season. And it was Australia that was the conclusion. And we're nearly at the halfway point. So the pit window is going to open up soon. As Gonzalez rose wide into the dirty air. And then comes back round and just helps Norris just to think about potentially making a move. Lance Stroll was also involved in this battle. Bottas is still 10th. Been unable to pass. So for Bottas, maybe the championship is going to go, but for so long he's been so dominant in this Formula One season. We cannot wait for what's awaiting us in Season 2. As of right now, the challenge, standing on Valtteri Bottas, is to get past Esteban Ocon, get past the Renault, and start moving up the field. But so far, he's been unable to do so. Slowest part of the circuit, left-hander, just down to 40 miles an hour, and then they'll accelerate back up through a long sweeping right-hander past the bus stand. And then it'll be continue accelerating whilst turning. Such is the quality of this car. It's got to stay in your tight line. Left, clip the apex, let the car drift out, clip into the apex again. Sergio Perez at the moment. Right behind him is Max Verstappen. And this is the fastest point of the circuit before they break into the penultimate chicane. Slight lock-up from Max Verstappen. Really is going now. He's got a really good run at the moment. DRS is opened up. Gonzalez here is coming into pits. And one of the Renaults is behind him. We'll wait to get a good look to see who it is. We're watching the stop first. And that was Daniel Ricciardo who has come in. And Gonzalez has come out and he's maintained his advantage. So they pitted early. And with the early pit stop, as he goes back onto the medium compounds, hoping to get through the rest of the race. It means the rest of the field, which is ahead of them, will be on the softer tyres that do offer more grip. It's a case of how long can they get out of those tyres. And that is always the great conundrum here in Formula 1. Valtteri Bottas, the great conundrum for him at the moment is getting past Daniel Ricciardo and moving up the field. It might be a case here for Bottas, maybe a case to limit the damage, because at the moment he's really struggling for the pace. And our Japanese director hasn't shown us a great deal of Lewis Hamilton. This is Mick Schumacher, who was always a favourite his father was when he raced. The battle for second place, but it remains close. But we shall wait to see if all three do want to come in and pit at the same time. This is the man at the moment that's been dominating the Grand Prix, and he's decided to pit. Lewis Hamilton is in, so let's watch for the pit stop. Tyres are in, medium compound going on, and he's able to get out fairly straightforward, fairly quickly. And there seems to be a hold up at the moment in the Red Bull. Esteban Ocon is in. Relatively good stop right behind the Alfa Romeo, and Lewis Hamilton will come through, and he's got clear track. And that's going to be a real advantage, to Lewis Hamilton, wheel to wheel at the moment. And Hector Gonzalez uses this opportunity to really go for it. And there he goes. Oh! Yes! Oh, it's fantastic! Well, we've got to see this again. Look at this. As the pit comes out, only a move that Speedy Gonzalez can make. Oh, my days. That is something else. Well, coming out of the pits, just watch this. On the line, rejoining the track, just fighting to get heat in those tyres. And that is a brilliant bit of driving. Here is the view from the Williams. Fighting for grip, and suddenly there goes a very fast Spaniard flying past you. So Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris are ahead, as is Lance Stroll and Valtteri Bottas, who's got up to 4th, but they've yet to pit. Alex Albon, Daniel Kvyat and Antonio Giovinazzi are also out ahead of Lewis Hamilton, who is the only driver furthest ahead who has pitted. And that makes him 8th at the moment, and as the other pits come in, the way Lewis is going, who has had some rotten luck this year, it has to be said. And he's got to be hoping that every nuts and bolts and every mechanical setting, every computer setting is just set up just perfectly. And from here, well, he can find himself all the way through to the finale of this Japanese Grand Prix. For his teammate Valtteri Bottas, time for a change of tyres. No traffic behind him. Medium compound goes on. Good stop, as always, from this Mercedes team. So well drilled that they are always able to make a good stop. And look at that, those cars flying in and out of one another. My heaven, they really are. Now there goes Gonzalez, and Bottas is back out and can speed again. Has Bottas done enough to pick himself up? Lap 9 of 13. He's got himself up to 6th, Valtteri Bottas. So whatever happens here, that is definitely damage limitation successfully completed from Bottas' standpoint. But if Lewis Hamilton can continue what he's doing, continue this, he would take the fight to the next 2 rounds. As I said, the championship cannot be settled today. But if Hamilton was to fail, he could potentially eliminate himself from the... he could almost eliminate himself from the running. Bottas' advantage would grow to beyond a race win in a DNF. And that's certainly what Lewis mustn't be hoping for. Same for Hector Gonzalez. To keep his chances, he really needed a win. And the Ravenwest itself just hasn't worked so well at Suzuka, with its reliance on power more than anything, as opposed to aerodynamic stability and the ability to plant the car as I was speaking to Hector Gonzalez, he was saying how he likes the car similar to the way Senna used to set up his cars, with just a hint of oversteer, just allowing you to find that level of grip required to really push the car to the limits. Well, 3 laps to go. Hamilton leads, Leclerc is second, Sergio Perez is fourth, Hector Gonzalez is within touching distance, Max Verstappen is fifth, Valtteri Bottas is sixth, and it is Verstappen at the moment that is putting the pressure at the moment on Hector Gonzalez. Well, there is Leclerc, there is Perez, Gonzalez, Verstappen. In the distance is Bottas. Here is Valtteri Bottas. And now, can Bottas get involved in this tussle if he can? Well, that would change the picture. As things stand at the moment, Lewis Hamilton with 26 points would have a point advantage over Valtteri Bottas. And for the first time this season, Lewis Hamilton, if things stay as they are, would lead the World Championship. Hector Gonzalez would remain behind them on 178 points. But it means this Mercedes Titanic duel would go to the final 2 races of the season. And I say that if, because in motorsports, nothing is guaranteed. So many famous moments where you thought drivers had it in the bag, but it all fell apart. Lewis Hamilton 131.16 is the fastest lap of the race in the lead, qualified in the 128s. He's giving it absolutely everything that he has at the moment. And now we're watching right behind, and that's Bottas trying to make a move, and Bottas looks to have made a chance. Gonzalez is well, Bottas is there. Side by side with Verstappen. Oh, fantastic. Bottas has got through. And that is going to change the championship. And we're watching Gonzalez there. Looked to be running a bit wide. But he's now got an angry Mercedes behind him. And with that, Bottas has got a 2-point advantage in the championship. But most importantly for Lewis Hamilton, as things stands, he's got himself involved in the World Championship this season. Gonzalez, this is really the moment. There's the entire championship challenge, which has arrived very late into the season. And that does have a huge effect in the outcome of what might happen later. But this is the key moment. Hamilton again gets to a 130.3 again, is flying. Bottas is sitting right behind Gonzalez, who's giving everything he has to try and hold off. 12 of 13 this lap and the next to go. Weaving left and right. I wonder if the officials may make anything of this. Bottas here, look at this lovely sweeping right-hander. Well, here is the key moment in the championship between these two. And this really is where it's all going to be settled, to be fair. Can Gonzalez keep Bottas behind him? If Bottas can get through, yes, he'll have a lead, and he's trying to make a move, and Gonzalez is making it very difficult. And he's just not able to do it at the moment. This is astonishing driving at the moment. Tries to go around on the inside. Racing line will be that of Gonzalez as they come out. Takes it behind. Bottas is right behind. Verstappen is also involved. Now, this could be the chance for Bottas. He's got a real opportunity to slingshot as they go around the left-hander. Can he brake and get enough speed coming out of the apex? I think he's lost some time, Bottas. Gonzalez has found half a second past the old GT start straight. And it'll be that long sleeping right-hander. This is the opportunity. This is where Bottas has got to make his move. And Gonzalez is hard on to him again. This is fantastic driving. It really is magnificent. Bottas is remaining fifth. but he cannot pass Gonzalez. Final lap of this Japanese Grand Prix. And here at Suzuka, well, they have not disappointed. Bottas knows that was he take this and lead the championship. From when it was looking after his gearbox change, it really was looking like it was all over. Or does he push to get past Gonzalez and go a step up? Can Lewis Hamilton and that Mercedes keep it together to get it all the way through? Here is the chance, just slightly sort of wide. Cutting in a little bit early there, Gonzalez. And right behind him, that sits the chance at the moment. And we're waiting to see. Can Valtteri Bottas, he's done so well, starting 10th on the grid, up to 5th. 4th place is what he's battling for. He may wait for his moment. And is this his moment? Oh! So desperately close to touching. But the man that has driven a faultless drive today, he has been stunning. He's got pole. He's led every lap bar one. And Lewis Hamilton is your race winner of the Japanese Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc has come through to 2nd. Sergio Perez takes 3rd. 4th place. Well, this lucky it might go all the way to the wire. And Gonzalez has got to get the hammer down. And 4th place is Hector Gonzalez's. So Lewis Hamilton, let's listen in.
Good job, Lewis. Looked like an easy ride there for you, mate. It was beautifully managed. Beautifully managed.
What a fantastic job, guys. Really, really so impressed. Thank you so much.
Lewis, your driving wasn't bad either.
Thanks, Dada.
Well, what a performance by Lewis Hamilton, who has reignited his championship challenge. He's brought it to just a couple of points now between him and Valtteri Bottas, and it really is boiling to the season of a fabulous finale to this Grand Prix season. We've got 2 races left. We will go to America, we will go to Interlagos, and the World Championship itself is very much alive. It is dead heat at the moment. And Lewis, well, what about that for a national anthem? He takes the trophy. He has been magnificent today, Lewis Hamilton. A fantastic drive. Celebrating with Leclerc, it was excellent. And it is great to see Sergio Perez continue at wonderful form, going 3rd. But the day very much belongs to the boy from Stevenage. Well, final standings of the Japanese Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton just about perfect, even setting the fastest lap. That extra point will be so vital. As far as his championship challengers go, as Hector Gonzalez and Valtteri Bottas, 4th and 5th. Hector Gonzalez drove the race of his life at the moment to hold off Valtteri Bottas. Both drivers started 9th and 10th respectively. Max Verstappen will be disappointed to get down, but Lance Stroll did well. Both Renaults were involved in it, but in the end, Daniel Ricciardo gets in with just a point. Lando Norris, who started 4th, disappointingly finishing 10th for them today. The lower half of the performance, Ravenwest, is Mick Schumacher, finished at 19th, gains 1 place, that of George Russell, but probably not the best standard for this young man who's very much still trying to feed his way into Formula 1 motor racing. From the drivers standing, well, it's to within a point. Valtteri Bottas had a massive advantage and Lewis Hamilton has it down to 1 point, and we've got 2 races to go. Don't discount Hector Gonzalez, who is mathematically still involved with 50 points available. Well, potentially 52 points available over the next 2 Grand Prix. You can't discount Hector Gonzalez. Charles Leclerc, well, he is mathematically in with the championship, but realistically I don't think it's going to be his day. Max Verstappen moves up and Sebastian Vettel's poor 2020 continues and he moves down. Sergio Perez climbs ahead of Sainz and Alex Albon. But it's that 2 Mercedes shootout that really is getting everybody excited. Bottas and Hamilton going for the championship. It's a point in it now. From the constructors' standpoint, well, Mercedes have the constructors' championship sewn up quite completely. Ferrari are in the best of the rest as they lead 2nd place. Red Bull in 3rd and Ravenwest sit behind them. But Racing Point now have got ahead of McLaren, who are the only other team to hit the 3 figures in terms of points. Actually, everyone else has scored points, which is always fine to see. Renault remain in 7th with 63, but the day absolutely belongs to Lewis Hamilton. Well, I tell you what, this was an absolutely fantastic Grand Prix. Really was. Good battling, good racing, excellent defensive driving shown by Hector Gonzalez. Valtteri Bottas has put in a fantastic show and has done damage limitation to the best, but all credit goes to Lewis Hamilton that put in a faultless performance when it was required, and as a result, Lewis Hamilton has moved into a position where he's just a point behind Valtteri Bottas. It's 2 races to go in the season, and there is all to play for. It's the dream scenario, but who will be the world champion? We may not be able to decide it at the American Grand Prix, but it could go a long way to deciding who is going to be that man that claims the Drivers' World Championship 2020. From all of us, thank you very much for watching, and we hope we'll see you again next time. Bye bye.